Let's face it, Genshin Impact is a gacha game, and unless you are a whale who bombs a lot of money in the game, or an extremely lucky free-to-play player, it is very unlikely that you will be able to collect every single character in the game. There are times where you need to save your Primo Gems for a particular character and skip one on the current banner, for example. As such, not all themes that content creators share online may be suitable for you, since you may not have a particular character to fill that slot. For example, one of the best freeze themes around is Ayaka, Kokomi, Kazuha, and Shenhe. Kokomi provides the healing and hydro application, while Kazuha swirls to increase the hydro application and reduces the enemy's elemental resistance. Shenhe provides buffs to Ayaka, while Ayaka deals out huge damage with her elemental burst. However, in my case, I do not have Kokomi, so I have to make do with Ayato instead. However, this means that my team now has no healing. That said, I rather forego the healing for damage, so in this case I'll keep Shenhe for the buffs, rather than changing her to another character such as Diona. But how do content creators even come up with these teams in the first place? How can you create your own perfect and strong teams? Let me show you how with all of the criteria laid out in today's video. Before I begin today's video proper, can I just say a huge thank you to everyone for allowing me to reach 200 subscribers. I'm now 1/5 of the way to 1000 subscribers and yet another step closer to my goal. Thank you so much. If you haven't subscribed, do consider subscribing as I post regular Genshin Impact videos, and I hope that you'll be here to watch them as they released. Once again, thank you in advance, and without further ado, my name is ChargeCoin, and let's begin the video. To properly understand how to create teams, we first need to break them up into two. Is your team for the Spiral Abyss, or is it for the open world? Since both of them will require different types of criteria to be considered perfect or good. Let's first talk about the Abyss. In the Spiral Abyss, a team that you want is one that can take down enemies quickly, dealing as much damage as possible, with the capability to destroy shields if they are present in the floor. The first criteria in this case is synergy. Does your team synergize well with each other? There are a few components to synergy in this case. First, what type of elemental resonance do you get with your team, and is it beneficial for your team? For example, if I have two Hydro characters such as Yelan and Xingqiu together, the Hydro resonance increases the max HP by 25%. This is beneficial since Yelan's damage scales off HP, so more HP equals to more damage. However, if let's say I have both Venti and Jean together in the Abyss, the animal elemental resonance decreases stamina consumption, increases movement speed, and shortens skill cooldown by 5 seconds. In this case, the animal resonance may not be as beneficial in the Abyss, considering you do not necessarily have to move around as much, and shortening the skill cooldown when some characters already have shorter cooldowns may not be as beneficial here in the Abyss compared to other elemental resonances. For the second part of synergy, you need to ask yourself, what types of elemental reactions can your team create? Some elemental reactions are more beneficial than others, while others may not bring any benefit to your team, which may cause you to lose precious damage and time in your Abyss run. An example of a good reaction type is if I pair Yelan and Hu Tao. Yelan is able to apply Hydro to the enemy, while Hu Tao can trigger Vaporize with her Pyro attacks. This reverse Vaporize reaction increases Hu Tao's Pyro damage by 1.5 times. This is of course beneficial to the team and for use in the Abyss, since it means that you can take down enemies a lot more quickly. However, if I pair let's say Raiden and Ayaka together, both extremely strong characters in their own right, but when both Ayaka and Raiden use their skill, the Electro and Cryo will cause Superconduct, which reduces the enemy's physical resistance. This is actually useless for both Ayaka and Raiden, as neither should use nor go for physical attacks. For the last area on synergy, you have to look at the characters' kits. For example, pairing Raiden and Nahida together is a good option, as Raiden's E skill will cause an Electro AoE attack to be launched at wherever your character hits an opponent, meaning that even though Nahida can use her E skill on faraway opponents, Raiden's E will still be launched immediately to trigger Quicken and Spread or Aggravate, thereby increasing the damage output of the team. Hu Tao and a character like Barbara are not that good together. While Barbara can apply Hydro so that Hu Tao can vaporize, the fact that Barbara heals and will hence bring Hu Tao above 50% HP, thereby removing her pyro damage bonus. This means that they should not be together even if they can cause a strong elemental reaction with vaporize. The second criteria for a good team is sustainability. Your team can be as strong as you want it to be, but if your team is unable to survive to deal that damage, then it is all pointless. I mentioned this in another video, but sustainability refers to either through healing or through having a shield. You have to see which one benefits you more. Healing will ensure that you can get your HP back up even if you get hit. Shielding will prevent you from getting hit. But if you do end up getting hit when your shield is down, you will not be able to heal. You have to find the balance and see which is more suitable to your playstyle. Now that we are done with the discussions for the Abyss, let's move on to the open world. For the open world, it is about getting from point A to point B. In between, you'll be encountering a lot of enemies as well as different terrain to traverse. As such, the priority here may be to defeat enemies quicker and have the speed to get to your destination a lot more quickly. Here, there are 3 criteria involved. First, we also have synergy. In this case, all that I've mentioned about previously, the elemental resonance, elemental reactions, and the characters' kits still apply here. However, you may want to have different priorities. For example, while the animal resonance may not be that useful in the Spiral Abyss, it becomes a lot more useful for the open world since it means that you can move a lot faster across the map. For the elemental reactions, it is the same as in the Abyss. You want to be able to trigger beneficial reactions so that you can defeat enemies faster. But this is ultimately less important since the overworld enemies tend to be of lower level and can be defeated a lot more easily. Finally, for the character's kit. While in the Spiral Abyss, you would want to go for the highest damage dealing characters, no matter if their source of damage comes from their burst or skill. In the overworld, you want to focus on where their source of damage comes from. For example, if you use the national team in the overworld, while they can deal a lot of damage, you may not be able to get their energy up fast enough as there are usually too few enemies and enemies are usually defeated easily, which gives you back little energy to recharge your burst for the next battle. The next battle will end up taking a lot more time because of that. Instead, you may want to consider characters who do not rely on their burst. For example, Yoimiya and maybe Fischl work well together in the overworld, as Yoimiya's main source of damage is her E skill and normal attacks, while Fischl is able to support with Oz only using her E skill, both of which cool down quickly and ready for the next fight. For the second criteria in the overworld, we also have sustainability. In the open world, sustainability is less important. You have other options of healing, such as the Statue of the Seven, or through the consumption of food. As such, in this case, it is possible to forego a healing or shielder character for more DPS, but having a shielder may help you defeat enemies more quickly without the fear of interruption. For the last of the criteria, we have Traversal. There are 2 kinds of Traversal: lateral, which involves moving from point A to point B horizontally through walking or running. In this case, you want a taller character so that he or she consumes less stamina and can cover more distance due to their longer legs. A character that can move faster with their skill, such as the Wanderer, will also be beneficial to cover more distance. The second type of traversal is vertical traversal, which involves moving from point A to point B vertically, usually through climbing. In this case, you may also want a taller character so that he or she can climb faster, or a character with skills that can help with this, such as Keqing or Kazuha. With that, we've covered all the possible criteria to make your perfect team. Let me do a quick summary before we proceed. For the Abyss, you want to look at synergy and sustainability. Can your characters work well together and survive for long enough to deal the damage? For the open world, you want to look at synergy, sustainability, and traversal. How can you get from point A to point B faster? So now, you have all the criteria that you need to create your perfect team. Oh yes, I forgot one more important criteria: the appeal factor. How much do you like to use the team, or how fond are you of these characters? Because ultimately, if you make a really good team but dislike a character or playstyle, it may still not be the perfect team for you. For example, I really dislike Eula's gameplay, so I really wouldn't put her on my team in that case. With all of these criteria, for both the Abyss and the open world, you now have to play the balancing game. For example, one of the best Hu Tao teams are Ye Lan, Hu Tao, Zhongli, and Xing Qiu. However, if I do not have Ye Lan, I can still replace her with Albedo for the Geo Resonance to buff Hu Tao's damage and have stronger shields for her overall. So play around with the characters and the teams that can give you the highest scores, and that will be your perfect team. But that said, how do you even select the characters using the criteria? Well, let me demonstrate it to you with the 3.7 Abyss. As you can see from the enemy list, there are a lot of Hydro and Cryo shields in this Abyss, and as such, I will need either Cryo or Dendro for the Hydro shields, and Pyro damage for the Cryo shields. In this case, I will select Ayaka for the Cryo damage, and Hu Tao for her Pyro. Add in Zhongli for his sustainability, and Xing Qiu for any freeze or vaporize reactions before the shields go up. Let's see if this works. And with that, we've come to the end of today's video. I hope that you have managed to learn something and will be able to create a team that is uniquely you. What is your perfect team that you would like to create? Let me know down in the comments below. If you found that today's video helped you out, or you just enjoyed it in general, do consider leaving a like, comment, or subscribe, as it will really help out the channel and get me closer to my goal of 1000 subscribers. I make regular Genshin Impact and Honkai Star Rail videos, and I hope that you will be here to watch them as they release. Thank you in advance, and bye bye!